A made-up word that Darren made up. There's no story behind it or anything. He just came up with it out of thin air.
Is it going to be the same questions? Can I give the same answers?
We're very comfortable on our own and also in a group.
Are you more comfortable on your own than you're with these guys?
No, I'm more comfortable with these guys because then I've got more licence to bounce off their stupidity.
No, we have been to Bath before, many years ago.
9 years.
This is the second time we played at the Moles Club.
I think this was about our third or fourth gig that we ever did. We did here at Bath Moles, many moons ago.
The oldest band member is Darren Lee Ford, I think, by quite a few years.
I am the singer and the guitarist, or one of the guitarists in the band.
Is he the most experienced as well?
In some fields, not in others. He kind of talks as if he knows what he's talking about, which make you think he's experienced, but he's just old, really.
I think we've become incredibly bored with each other's company, and we're only doing it for the money.
Miles was in a band with Darren, and that's how I met Darren, and so that was about 1997. And then we signed our first deal in Christmas time 1998.
We're just a corporate entity now, much like the Stones or Barron Knights, those kind of bands.
We're old friends. It's about 15, 16 years now since we met, I suppose. So yeah, we must like each other, still we hang out.
Not always. I harboured other ambitions. At one point I was very close to becoming a tennis pro, but that fell apart because of an elbow injury. So I had to, and basically playing the guitar is a natural thing to do. Once you put down the tennis racket, pick up the guitar, they're very similar things.
Yeah, got strings, both of them.
Exactly.
Darren is the kind of principal songwriter.
I'm a military gypsy. My dad was in the army, so I don't actually come from anywhere.
So he kind of comes up with the structures and the melodies and a lot of the parts, and then we all gather around it and add our own things onto it.
Lived in Germany, Cyprus, Ireland. Is that abroad?
Yes.
It's a foreign land to some.
But it's quite a sort of singular way of writing music, and all three of us kind of individually write songs.
A massive influence for me is the record Harvest by Neil Young. So Neil Young and that record specifically.
I was in a band with my brother. He needed a drummer, so I learnt to play the drums. Because I was always very kind of subordinate to him. He was like the older brother. I always had to go in goal. I always had to play drums, that kind of thing.
Because we did it, we made the whole record ourselves. It was all our own work. Kind of get a lot of sense of pride out of releasing it and then doing the gigs ourselves. We drive the van, we kind of lift the gear, we do everything.
Yeah.
So it's like the old days. It's like when we sort of first began.
Somewhere between ABBA and AC/DC, somewhere in the A's. Stick it in the A's.
Occasionally, yeah. There's a few songs that I think there's one. Is there one on the record? Yeah, one song on the record that I wrote. A few on the previous album. A couple of sort of additional tracks that we all kind of write our sort of share of stuff.
Have I written a love song? Specifically a love song? No.
Never.
No. I'm not entirely sure what a love song is. I don't tend to decide what a song's going to be about specifically before I start writing it. It just kind of develops itself. So more often than not, it's got a couple of 2-3 themes in it.
Mm-hmm.
An element of romance, an element of disaster, that kind of thing.
I think a lot of the themes in our songs are kind of quite melancholic.
Where is the Promised Land? I think it's in the Middle East somewhere, isn't it?
They kind of come from quite like an emotional perspective.
Ooh. That's a question, you know. It's not an answer. It's not a question to be answered. It's a question, and
It's just a question to be out there.
I promise lands with an S, you know, has some to arrive. It doesn't have to be a specific place, but it can be something that happens to anyone, anytime. Maybe it just near memory services on the M4. That might be where it is. I don't know.
We're not particularly kind of serious people when we're kind of in our day-to-day lives, but I think that all those serious things kind of come out in the songs often. There's no particular theme, it's just kind of, I don't think there's a huge amount of interesting content in being amazingly happy.
I don't particularly feel disillusioned with like playing in the band or the music industry or anything after this amount of time. We've had a few ups and downs and dips and moments where I've kind of felt bad about it, but at the moment I'm just kind of happy to be doing it, and playing a gig tonight is kind of as fun a thing as we could be doing. I'm not disillusioned with the music industry, like playing in the music industry, but if it comes to like who you're going to vote for, yeah, I'm pretty disillusioned.
Is there another George Bush out there somewhere? Because we've had like George Bush Senior, we've had W. There's got to be another one out there. Hopefully there'll be another George Bush somewhere along the line. Okay. Fingers crossed.
Who do you vote for? I don't see any difference between the major parties at all, and massive despair for the pointlessness of.
God, it's like Chris Martin.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, what's going on?
He just said you sound like Bono.
Tiger Woods for me. He should get into office, definitely. He's so focused. Honestly, it scares me. He's quite beefcake as well, you know. We need a beefy black guy in office, definitely.
Obama wouldn't cut it.
No, he's too thin. He's too slim. Yeah.
Is that it? Are we done? Or are you just thinking if there's another little question in there?
I think there's some
Come on,
more.
dig deep. Pick one out.
Yeah, pick one out.
Yeah?
Okay.
No, I don't personally know any bands from Iceland.
You haven't heard of them?
I've heard of bands from Iceland.
Which ones?
There's the Bjorks.
There's the Bjorks.
The Bjorks, the Sugar Cubes, the
Sigur Rós.
the Sigur Rosses, and then there's the I was
really like Mr. Serious.